Good evening, everybody. Welcome to your Friday night edition of Not Another Rangers podcast, and I'm your host, Gary. Winter's well and truly upon us, as we were just talking about before we came on earlier. Ricky's mum was sitting with her hat and scarf and gloves on in the house, and we've got the We Are Not Another Rangers podcast snowy logo on the right hand side, if you can see that, because winter is here. We're going to be back at Ibrox. I was thinking there, we're going to be back at Ibrox after a month. And I think when I went a month ago, actually, it was just literally a t-shirt, the Rangers top and a jacket on. Now it's going to be wrapped up with numerous layers to try and avoid that -3, 4, 5 degree weather that we have here. You'll know anything about that, Ricky. You'll understand that. It's particularly cold up here in Scotland at the moment, and Cam's going to experience that tomorrow when he comes up for the game. So Nicholas is in the comments saying 7 hours late. For those that don't notice, actually, for some reason, Scott's been messing about with things, and I did on at 11:38 supposedly this morning. I don't know what he was doing. Technology has been getting the better of him recently. I did watch last week's show, and was in an event to attend, so I watched a couple of days later. And what a shambles! I'm glad it's good to be back. That was unbelievable.
Here he comes.
How are we doing, Scott? We're just doing the intro, and I'm just saying this is back to normality. We're able to show the screen properly. We're able to like professionals. When there was two screens going at one time, you were, as Cameron says, you were looking like an old pensioner staring at the screen when it was happening.
I'm an old pensioner, Gary. I don't know what was happening last week. I organised it when I was working last week, and when I was working in the clinic, and I done it on my phone, so I didn't know what happened. So when I went in with Ricky last Friday night, we were just not got a clue what was happening. The two were looking as daft as each other.
Oh no.
And as Nicholas says, so I'm back. Normal service resumes. The professionalism's returned, hopefully, for this evening. So we will see how it goes.
He leaves us in the lurch all the time, Ricky, doesn't he? He just says, I'm off and I was night. Used to.
You just deal with it. You just deal with it.
So,
I know. I was
deal with it.
And it turns out it doesn't work well for any of us. So no, I was at the Wars Light last week. Just as I'll give a wee shout out, actually, just when you say that, I was in the Wars Light last week. And somebody came up to us, so I'll give a shout out to Ian, who came up to me and says he watches it every week and it's the best podcast going. So thanks, Ian. Hope you enjoyed it and hope you enjoyed tonight. And obviously missed last week's shambles, which I suppose because he was at that thing with me. But
I said to you last week when I was in the vaccination centre, somebody came in for the COVID and flu vaccine, and they said to me, "Oh, you're for the podcast," and I said, "Aye." And they're talking away, and he loved Ricky. He likes Ricky's rants.
Ricky's a favourite.
You've got a big fan.
Ricky's a favourite. He's I mean, don't get me wrong. The ones that actually, all the ones that like him are a bit mental, but not okay. Not at all. So there's something for everybody. The young ones that love Cameron. You've got Ricky's rants, and you've got Scott that obviously is the owner, and I'll try and keep it all together.
I've just not got a clue, Gary.
I see that. Cheers, get more nights out in Dracula. That's I'm off to Edinburgh tomorrow night. Actually, as an aside, so it's social life. I've got better social life now I'm 50 than I did when I was younger, sadly, which is sad to say. Anyhow, welcome to tonight's show. It's been a busy fortnight. It seems like it's been forever. Do you know, it seems like the last game I remember Peter Van Vossen missing an open goal. That's when it seems it was the last time we actually played a game. It seems like ages has passed since the Dundee game, and we won 3-0, routine victory, and then we went away on international duty. So hunters to cover tonight, and we'll get into that shortly. So how are we, Cameron? How are you this evening?
Right, mate. Glad it's Friday. Glad the club football's back. Although the international football has been entertaining, I'm sure all you lot will be able to attest to that. But I'm doing good.
Good. And you're up for the game tomorrow. So for all those ones that say every week when you say I've never actually seen the game, he's going to be there in person. So nobody be complaining in the comments.
Yeah, I'm driving up tomorrow, leaving tomorrow at 8 a.m. Driving back the same day, the things you do. So bringing up my missus. So I'll be there 3 o'clock, freezing.
Good to be going to a big game against Livingston. It's always a one to go for.
It's only, annoyingly, it's the only game that I can do. And it's always the lesser teams that I can get tickets for. When it's the big teams, I've got no chance.
And Ricky, still another month before you make your way back to Ibrox, isn't it? So you're still enjoying Cyprus.
Yeah, no, I'll be there for the Motherwell game. If I need to send Kerr some money, he said he's going to get us a couple of tickets since he's the big boss, and to make up for his effort last week when I'm hitting the buttons. No, I'm looking forward to it, mate. But I've been buying some winter clothes because it looks absolutely freezing. Like you said, I spoke to my mum on the phone the other day. she's sitting with a hat and gloves on, watching TV through the with the heating on as well, man. I'm like, what is going on? But no, looking forward to it, mate. Looking forward to it.
And when
Ricky, Gary can get you some tickets because he's due a few of all these night suits he's going.
That's true.
Good point.
No, I do. But we can get you one each, right? You'll get one now. You'll get one. I know it's when you do come next month, Ricky, as you say, you need to wrap up in the winter coat so people will not recognise you. You've not got the wee bit down there that people like most weeks in it. When they always
exactly, mate. No, not be showing any skin, that's for sure. It'll be Tammy on, snood, and just a pair of eyes. You'll be like, who's that speaking to me when I meet us in the bar?
And Scott, you're just in for work. You've been rushing about to get here for this evening. So how are you?
I'm all right.
I've not seen you since New York, obviously.
No, I know. Yeah, New York feels like it was ages ago, Gary. It was busy today, really, really busy and rain through as well. So just rushed up the road to go in this. This is a new laptop as well, so hopefully it lasts. That last one just wasn't working anymore. I think it was as old as me. No, I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. But I'd just like to say congratulations to Scotland. I never really seen the game because I was at a concert on Tuesday night, but I watched the highlights and they played really well and there's a lot of good goals in the match. So I'm old enough to remember Scotland being at a World Cup every 4 years, Gary, bit like yourself, but a lot of folk don't really know these things getting to World Cup. So congratulations to them and I'll be watching them next summer.
I think we'll start with that, because I'm not a huge Scotland fan. I've been to a lot of games over the years. I went just to take my boy, things like that, because he supports another team as opposed to Rangers. So it was a good excuse for him and my daughter to go. But I picked him up after the game, and he was saying it's the best game of his life. To be fair, and it's an experience. I was trying to tell him afterwards that he's 21 next month in April. I said to him, I was 23 last time Scotland qualified. That's how. Last time Scotland played the World Cup, that shows you how long ago, which kind of shocked him. So I suppose on the game itself, probably four really good goals. I think they had a world-class Scott McTominay strike, who's the highest ever overhead kick, apparently, something like that. 75 minutes of kind of turgid football where Denmark were probably well in control and deserved to probably be drawing at that point. And then a mad mental 15 minutes when it was when you even actually celebrated maybe, or when Kieran Tierney scored. And a bigger
that was an OG. That was an OG. It wasn't Tierney's goal. That was an OG, man. I don't know why people are going on about it. It was Tierney's goal. It was going wide and it hit off the boy and went in. Let's get that straight.
But Ricky, it was a fantastic achievement. That's a huge achievement.
I mean, I never watched it. I was in bed because it was 3:00 in the morning my time. But I watched all the, and obviously we're no friends at Ireland, but just international football. That last minute goal that Ireland scored and the fans going crazy with the commentator, and then Scotland to top it. Scotland went and topped it with. The commentaries, there's been some brilliant things. There's a few brilliant memes in that. There's these two Aussie guys that do the commentary and do the facial expressions and everything. No, but it's great. It's absolutely brilliant for the nation. I'm sure you guys are in Scotland. I'm sure everyone's buzzing, smile on their face. The country needed it. They've been a bit down in the dumps. All the division that's been going on the last few years. So hopefully it brings the country together. And even if you're not going to the World Cup, the pubs will be absolutely tremendous when the games are on in the summer, because the football's not there. You've not got any Rangers throughout the summer. So the World Cup, when your nation is there, makes it 2 times more exciting, mate. So it'll be a good summer. I hope Wales and some of the other teams there, they've got quite a tough draw, but it'd be good if we can get more of the nation, the home nations there, is more the merrier, Gary, and I think it'll be fantastic. We'll see where we're based. Mexico, Canada, America, bring it on, mate. It'll be good.
Do you think if it's over in Mexico, Donald Trump will let us come over the border, seeing he's a Scotsman anyway? Is his grandmother Scottish or his mother Scottish or whatever it is?
Yeah.
He'll be desperate for us over there.
Yeah, he'll be wanting us in America, but it depends on the draw. I think the 5th of December the draw is.
I think it is, and there's still all these playoff wins still to be decided, isn't there?
That's good. No, I think that's later. That's in March. I think the playoffs are in March, but the draws are the 5th, and then so it'll be good. It'll be good to see who they get. I hope they get some Brazil, like they've some good teams. It'll be brilliant, Gary. It's good for the young generation because.
I think you're breaking up a wee bit. Yeah.
Like you said, so many have missed out. Like Kerr says, we used to take it for granted. Every World Cup Scotland.
There we go. He was just going on for a while anyway, wasn't he? So it's over to you, Cameron. I didn't think he was ever going to stop. Cameron,
Yeah,
not a Scotsman, I suppose, or I don't know. Actually, you might be. Maybe the English accent deceives us.
Yeah, my dad brought me up as a Scotland fan. It's probably from an atmosphere. I remember the England and Scotland game. I think 2016. Lee Griffiths scored those 2 free kicks. That was always, I thought, that I'd never seen so much such an atmosphere through the telly for an international game. But yeah, it was unbelievable for it to kind of finish the way that it did. It was a poor game, truth be told, but it was 3 great goals. I don't think you could have asked for more. My dad always goes on about, he was at France 98, Scotland, Brazil. So I've actually got his flag somewhere that he took with him, which is covered in all sorts of stains that he refuses to wash. I said to him, we need to wash that. And he said, no, I'm not washing that. So okay. But, yeah, like Ricky said, it's amazing for Scotland in general. It'd be amazing for Scottish football. Just getting to that and actually doing it by topping the group, not going through the playoffs or anything, actually topping the group.
It's a phenomenal achievement, you know, and even to listen to Flower of Scotland, all the stuff that goes with it. It's not the most rousing of anthems, but it did sound amazing listening on the TV. So good luck to Scotland. Good luck to next summer when it keeps the football going, keeps it interesting, and hopefully we don't get 3 draws then put out straight away as when we used to the World Cup back in those days. However, we are here to talk about Rangers and not about Scotland. So, and some of it will touch on international football because we decided to get a whole pile of them injured while we were over there, I think, for some of these internationals. But I think we'll try to work out what's happened, right? So we've had, obviously, first World Cup in 28 years. Kevin Thelwell and Danny Rowe gave extended interviews to kill time during the international break. You've got a new set-piece coach and Stevie Smith, effectively the local coach. We've got Rangers accounts were announced today. Lost lots of money, but more cash in the bank for those that kind of want to know the accountancy side of it. And we've also got a whole host of players that were injured in international duty. But on the plus side, Dujon Sterling, Rabbi Matondo, and Kieran Dowell are almost back to my third glittering injury record. That should be fine. There's not going to be an issue. They're not going to be injured again soon thereafter. So there's been tons, and we won't necessarily cover it. But there's also been an AGM over the road that was well worth a watch if you've not seen it. That was probably exciting in its own right. And I've probably never. If you thought Dermot Desmond tearing into Brendan Rodgers was bad, his son tearing into the whole fan base was even worse. I think it's fair to say, but we won't cover that in any depth tonight. So,
just like to say, Gary,
has he got a microphone? You're going to sing?
No, just like I was using my microphone here, because I can't put it anywhere. I'm sitting on the floor in the bedroom because everybody's down the stairs. I just like to say that EGM the day I was laughing was in my work, but their fan base is so entitled. They've won about 23, 24 trophies at the last 30. They won 14 at the last 15 leagues. They get millions in the bank. They're in Champions League every season, and they're kicking off. Can you imagine they went through what we went through? Honestly, I've never seen a fan base so entitled in my life. It's unbelievable. They think they deserve everything, and they should get everything. It's just so funny to watch. And I know, listen, we're not great shape, so probably still finish higher above us because our squad's not the greatest, but who do they actually think they are? They think everything should just come to them and nobody should challenge them and stuff like that. It's embarrassing. It's totally embarrassing. If I was a Celtic fan, I'd be embarrassed. Thankfully, I'm not.
Yeah, for a whole host of reasons, Scott. So that's enough about Celtic. We don't really want to cover them again, but it was go into TikTok and scroll through, you're bound to find plenty of little snippets of the AGM today. So what we cover first, I think we'll talk coaching additions, right, Ricky? We'll talk. So Scott Fry became our first dedicated set piece coach. I think is the first one we've had, and obviously there's been some talk today in Danny Rowe's press conference, effectively that Stephen Smith is our new local Scottish Rangers connection, whatever coach, although not necessarily formally appointed to the role, but working with the coaching group. So, just I suppose your thoughts on the two. Then we'll come to Cameron, who'll know much more about set piece coaches than us older people.
Not clever, mate. Really clever. I'm liking everything with Danny Rowe so far, and I actually love the fact that he's came in he's had the first 3 weeks, and he's liking Stevie Smith, what he's doing. I think Stevie Smith's quite a calm, level-headed guy, but he knows the academy really well. So that's what he said today. I actually picked up. I put it in the text the other day when he did the Rangers TV interview, Danny Rowe, that I picked up right away, because I heard the way he was speaking about Stevie Smith, that he was going to be his local coach. It's not been confirmed yet, which I think is good as well. So he's keeping him on his toes. And it is an option to revisit it down the line, to have a look at it and maybe put him back to the academy if they think that that's maybe the better solution for him, and bring someone else in. But we've been screaming for a set-piece coach, Gary. Our set pieces have been dreadful since Culshaw left with Steven Gerrard. I mean, you can tell by the numbers. I see people have been going on Norwich podcast the last few days speaking about Clement, and their negatives were that with the set pieces, he wanted to do everything himself with the set pieces, and that just continued. And I mean, you look at the goals, we keep losing the same goal. We've got big defenders, the near post, someone runs at the near post, we don't defend it properly, it either goes straight in the net or it gets flicked to the back post, and there's nobody there. So this guy's coming with a massive pedigree, Gary. I mean, people are saying set pieces are set pieces, and I hope that does prove to be true, because his record at Lincoln City was absolutely excellent. And if he can get their numbers, sort of numbers, to Rangers, I would like to see us defending set pieces, for me, would be the first thing. And if he's watching videos with AI of Rangers over the last 2 years, he will be like, wow, this is the best job in the world for me, because he's starting at absolute rock bottom when it comes to throw-ins, when it comes to corners, when it comes to defending corners, scoring corners, zonal marking, you name it, he'll be able to. It's going to take a bit of time. I think fans need to be patient and not expect too much from this guy. I see people joking, going, if we don't score from 2 corners this weekend, then get the guy out, you know. So but I think it's going to take time. But if you can start seeing, like we did with Culshaw in the past, like little things that have been implemented and it will start to improve, then it can only be a good thing for me, Gary.
Yeah. So, Cameron, you're from the younger generation, as I said, right? So you understand the throw-in coaches, set-piece coaches, people that do every single thing in the world of football. Now, I heard Danny Rowe talking earlier on that was it 30% of goals are scored from set pieces in the modern game, and obviously, the great Arsenal example is the most boring team in the world to watch, but every corner is like a penalty for them.
Yeah, but it's just another toolkit in your arsenal, isn't it? I mean, I was just looking at some stats just then. So in the last 2 seasons, last season, we only scored 8 goals from set pieces. That's shocking. That's really, really bad. I don't know how many we've conceded. I mean, I would imagine we've conceded a fair few, but especially when you're playing against a low block like we do, a set piece should be an opportunity for you to really create something. I mean, we've had loads of times we've not even beat the first man. But it's just I think he's right. They're a massive integral part of the game nowadays. Even you get your big physical centre halves. If you get height, you can utilise that. But I think time will tell whether or not the squad can adapt to it. I'm kind of agree. I don't think we'll see an instant impact. I just want to see us be a bit more alert, defending set pieces more than scoring them. Because I know under Martin we were using zonal marking for corners, which was an absolute nightmare. And throw-ins, we were always a little bit too reactive. We just waited. And I always remember, I think we played a couple of seasons ago when we played Celtic. We were always really slow to react from throw-ins, and a lot of their goals came directly from throw-ins, just down the line. So I think there's a lot that can be gained from this, and if we can become a lot tighter from set pieces, because that's where a lot of teams will hurt, especially in the league. If we can cut that out and be dominant defending set pieces, then I think that just sets us up for success moving forward. So I think it's a great appointment, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the challenge with set pieces is it's you can put as many good balls in if you want it. People don't head them. You know, that's sometimes the problem as well. I think we obviously scored one against Dundee with Raskin. We've scored that one frequently. The problem is we've no actually at centre halves. I can't remember last time back in the days when Connor Goldson used to score half a dozen at a time.
He scored tonight. He just
Did he?
scored. He scored half an hour ago. He got beat 2-1 by Pavos, but he scored exactly that. He scored from a free kick. Boy flicked it on him, and then he scored. It's funny you just said that. I just watched it before it came on air.
Well, again looking at the goals. I think we scored the season before last. I think we scored something like 21 goals or 22, 20, whatever it was. We scored about 20 goals from set pieces.
Yes.
To have that drop to below 10 is alarming.
And I suppose that's the question. So is it to do with the people attacking the ball? Because if you say it's the same person take the corners, to be fair, all the set pieces. So is it the people attacking the ball not being in the right positions, or is it a combination of both? So it's about, or is it, so we need to get. It's not you can create as many great routines as you want, but unless the people attack the ball properly, you ain't going to score the goals.
Yeah, but you need variety as well in your set pieces. Like we always see a corner taker stick his arms up in the air, or stick two arms up, and to kind of signal right, we're going to do this move. So we just need variety. I think the trouble that we've had is we've been trying to do the same thing for too long, which is the classic, just put it in an area. And I don't think that works anymore. I think you need movement. You need players to move around. You might have someone drop off at the back post. You just float one in there and he gets a free header. Or even like we've seen with Raskin, like we see with Joe Rebo, get a tall guy on you from post, get a flick on, and you never know.
Just reminded me, Cameron, there the old one we used to flick on from Joe Rebo, Alfredo Morelos at the back post for a tap in. The amount of times we scored that goal way back and over that couple of seasons was phenomenal. You know, the same thing. And you watch Arsenal and things like that, it's often that flick on and it creates a danger. Even the goal we lost against Roma, same idea, the flick on at front post and lose at the back post. It's not rocket science. Some ways it's about just positionally get first contact and all the stuff that goes with it.
Well, another big one for set pieces will be defending the second balls that come directly from it.
Yeah.
So Bruges is a massive highlight of that, where that comes from a second ball from a set piece. So it's those little details which having someone working on them 24/7 could be a massive benefit to us.
Sean was saying about Cornelius. We actually must have scored more set pieces this season than proportionally than we did last season. If you're talking about how few there was last season, because I can think of a number of goals we've already scored this season through that, and we've not scored a lot of goals to be fair. But Tav scores the header, didn't he, from a corner? You've got Cornelius one there. You've got Raskin. There's been numerous ones that was probably on target already to probably beat last year's shockingly bad record when Philip Clement was doing them himself, as Ricky says. Anyway, I think we'll move on from there because there's lots I want to cover. Scott, there was interviews with your great friend Kevin Thelwell, who's going to get you tickets for Ricky for the game, and also Danny Rowe during the international break. Now that they are, what do you call them, in the puff pieces? Is that what you call it? That kind of thing. They'll just literally come out and give a wee bit of a chat, just making sure that people know Rangers are still about over that period. Was there anything you gleaned from them that was particularly interesting, or was it the same old nonsense you've heard before?
I quite enjoyed the Danny Rowe one, I have to say. It's good to come out and speak about and meet other people at the club and see what's going on. Maybe what they asked for Kevin Thelwell, Gary, I'm not interested in listening to him until he actually makes some decent signings in the transfer window. The guy's up his own arse, I'm afraid. He's not done anything to improve us. He's done the total opposite, so it's a wait and see, but I don't think he's going anywhere soon because I think he's got a lot of power at Ibrox now, with a lot of different pieces in place, friends, family and whatever else, and I think Kavanagh lets him kind of rule the roost, but he's still got a lot of work to do before he turns the fan base to actually like him, because at this moment in time he's one of the ones in the fan base don't like, and you can see why, because a lot of players he's brought in, I mean, you can see this season in Scotland, Gary, Hearts are top of the league and they're okay. They're not, I'm not saying they're a fantastic side, but they bought a lot of decent players in and they're doing really well at the moment. Celtic are a bomb scare, but they're still above us. So it tells you what we are. Now, if we were actually had a half decent recruitment window, we could be further up the league, challenging, sitting top, sitting second. But even with the time Celtic are having, I still see them finishing above us in the league, and that's all down to recruitment to me. And I think if Danny Rowe wants a chance, because he talked about long-term future at Rangers, and I'm actually quite enjoying him being at the club. I'm thinking he's going to be doing a lot, and I think he's got a long-term plan, but he needs decent players to work with. You know what I mean? If you don't give him decent players, he's struggling straight away. So I like to see Gary, who's on his traffic light system right enough,
We're going to just you hold that thought because we're going to do that traffic light system in a little while. We're going to play a little game of Danny Roll traffic light bingo in a wee while. I was thinking, so we'll come back to that because I think it's probably worth it. That caught my eye earlier on when I was listening to the interview. Do you know what? See before we're going picking on Hearts recruitment, people talk about Hearts recruitment and all this Jamestown stuff and all that stuff constantly. This was the same recruitment strategy they had last season and they finished bottom 6. You know, because it's working just now, they've got a massive squad of players. They've started the season well. I think people maybe get a bit carried away. All of a sudden, they've invented something new that nobody else has ever done before.
Yeah, just a bit of freshness in Scottish football, though, Gary. Definitely, people get. Well, it was the same last year, but Aberdeen. I do think Hearts are going to make a better fist of it than Aberdeen. But all the teams, you see it with us, are starting to get injuries now. So we'll see. I think it's going to be very interesting coming into January. Like even the next time we play Celtic to see where all the teams are. We're still 12 points behind them. I don't know if we'll play that game in hand before January, but I think that's just the par for the course because there's a new team at the top of the league and they beat Celtic the way they did. They beat Rangers at Ibrox. Okay, they got a big help from the refs and stuff, but they've beaten us and they've beaten them. So there is a little bit of fuel behind the Hearts rise to the top of the league. But I agree with you, it is over exaggerating a little bit. But then on the other side, we've spent, well, the numbers didn't even match up today with what Phil Will said, by the way, in the accounts. It was all over the place with this 20 million that we've supposedly spent. But anyway, one thing for sure, we don't have a better squad of players this season than we did last season, and our squad last season wasn't good enough. And people even today going on about bringing back Ryan Kent, you're like, oh my God, he's been found out in America and now fans are wanting him back. It's like, honestly, it's like, I don't know what it is with this obsession with bringing back players that played for the club before that weren't good enough and left the club for a reason. It's insane. But anyway, no, it's definitely over-exaggerated, Gary. But it's good to have another team in the title race, mate. I will say that. It's good that it's not just us and Celtic, but it will be interesting going into January when we play Celtic to see how close that gap is.
Ricky, when was the last time you were in title race? You're saying
no, but we could be. No, we could be though. We could be, mate, if we win. You know, we've got. I still think game at a time for us, but I think there is a chance. I really like Rowan. I think he knows his traffic light system. If he can get enough players in the green, then we'll be back in the title race, mate.
And we'll talk about that later on, I suppose, because we've got 2 home games that we should be winning. Hearts and Celtic got 2 away games that are tricky, and you know the momentum could shift quite quickly just by even one result there. If somebody was to tell us that we win the 2 games and they draw one of the 2 games, either one of them, we could be 3 points behind Celtic after the shocking start of the season. They probably took that at this point in time from there. So not all is not lost yet in terms of there. So do we talk financial figures briefly? So the accounts come out, Cameron. Do you want to do this? Do you know? So I'll get some of the others, but most of the other 2 can't count as easily. So the annual accounts came out today. So we made a £15 million loss. We had a £15 million loss, but we also had more cash in the bank than we had previous years. Player trading or something like that was better than it was in previous years, but and our revenues were record high. But we also lost more money because we spent £2 million hand and all these other things that go with it. I suppose in previous years, in years gone by, it would be much more of a drama. I think when you've got big, rich American owners, including the 49ers, I'm not so sure people are that worried about it right now or that bothered about
it. No, I mean, like, there were a couple of things in there where it said, oh, we're improving on the player trading model. But, I mean, the best dog shit is still dog shit. So, and that's kind of where it is with the player trading model. It's been down for a long, long time. I know that revenue's up, but then again, I think the European ticket prices, they're putting them up, so that's no wonder. We got quite far into Europe, so we'd have got broadcasting money as well as prize money and gate money from that. And don't forget, they did inject, was it, 30 million cash? Yeah. So from a revenue perspective, yeah, that's on the up. Operating costs are still fairly high. The big issue for me, I've always find is, I think with Celtic, they're light years ahead of us, but I think one of the main things is that it's down to the kit manufacturer. Personally, I think we've got a really crap deal with Castore, which I think is not harming, but I think that could be one of the definitely things that needs to be addressed, is getting a decent kit manufacturer deal in there. A couple of million a year for 3-4 years at the minute with Castore. It's not a good deal, but it doesn't make for promising reading, to be honest. A lot of stuff is still down. It's still in the red. We're not going to be a club that operate at 50 million profit every year. It just isn't going to happen. The player trading model is going to dip and dive. Some seasons it'll be really good. Some seasons it'll be really bad. But either way, we're still losing money, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I've only glanced through the stuff. It's a lot of the smoke and mirrors, right? Just to be clear for people, it's a lot of the smoke and mirrors. It's up to the 30th of June was the date. If you remember rightly, we sold Igaman, maybe even Hefty, Ridvan and others after that date. So they show up next year's figures. Some of the ones we signed this year show up in this year's figures. You devalue each of the players every year. There's a lot of it's non-real in terms of money. It's not cash. It's not money you've got in your hands. It's literally just about moving paper figures around more often than not. So a 40 million, 50 million pound loss sounds bad, but in reality, when you've wiped, say, 5-10 million pound off the value of the players because the contracts went down, it's not actual real cash that's went anywhere. And as I say, next year we'll show a profit because we left all the transfers out potentially till July, and it makes it look pretty. I suppose that's the purpose sometimes with accounts, is about how you tell the story at that particular time. It makes sense for the American owners to sell the story badly this year as still a loss and sell it next year as a profit-making business. Go from there. I think that would be my take on it. I wouldn't be too concerned. And then Scott, as I said, the fact that American 49ers are involved means there's very little real reservations, in the same way when you had John Bennett and all these other ones putting their hand in the pocket every couple of weeks to see what money loose change you had to pay the bills.
I think, Gary, see, most accounts people tell you it's all smoke and mirrors, isn't it? Nobody ever tells you the truth, and I don't take much notice of it myself, to be honest with you. There's not really any point because there's not a lot we can do anyway, so I don't really take a lot of notice unless we end up going down shit creek. But no, they're going to come out and, you say, tell this, and then next season they'll say they've got this, but they're not going to come in here and try and make a profit. They're businessmen at the end of the day, and that's what they want. That's why they bought the club in the first place. So it is what it is, isn't it, with these accounts? So you can look at it everywhere. You can look at it positive, you can look at it the negatives. And the wage bill is down slightly, which makes you wonder why, because they've brought in a lot of guff, but maybe that's the reason.
But next season the wage bill goes back up, but the transfer income will offset it and things like that. That's sorry, was telling you guys.
Yeah, I was just thinking now. Tell you one thing, I think probably the thing he's looked at is the pathway from academy into first team. If you have a decent pathway and you've got a decent investment into your academy, you don't need to rely so much on bringing in foreign assets, spending that money to fill your squad. Even if you're buying squad players, those squad players should really be your academy players. So I definitely think that's something which needs looked into, because if you look into that squad, really, we've only really got Finlay Curtis, who was kind of knocking about, who's come directly from the academy.
The only thing that coming is pathways, you're only really going to get maybe 1-2 at most a season. That can take a long time, especially when this new guy come in. You might not see the fruits of his work until 2, 3, 4 years down the line.
It's lucky that Kevin Tebble knew a man then, isn't it? It's lucky that he knew a man that could bring him together.
Kevin knows everybody. Do you know what I mean? He knows exactly everybody, no matter where they've been. Everybody's been through Wolves at some point, haven't they? So must know someday.
Right. So that's enough about cows. Don't talk about financial figures. I'm going to step with you, Scott, because this made me smile during the week. You're great friends. You're a big fan. Philip Clement returned to management. Big Phil was back. Big Phil was away to Norwich, stealing Russell Martin's potential job. And he is, I've seen him on TikTok actually giving his first speech for some reason to the players. I don't know how that was shown. Do you think about success there? I think it's a totally different environment, proven credentials. He wins trophies.
It's different. There's going to be less pressure on him, Gary. There's not going to be as much. He's not going to be scrutinised as much. He will be in the East Anglia local area down that way because of getting Norwich and you get rivals Ipswich or another division. But he's going to be, same division, but they're going to be. He's only going to be scrutinised as much. And good luck to him. I mean, Norwich are they've got a decent setup. They're a decent club, and when he's in the door, he can only really go upwards, can't he? He can't really go any further down. So they've got a decent squad of players there. So hopefully get some results and get some back up the table. And like I said, good luck to him.
Yeah.
I didn't none against him personally, so I wish him all the best at Norwich.
We've had worse managers one very recently, and good luck to him, I suppose, on that. I think Ricky's nodding. I think he said, he was there, it didn't work. He probably could argue the case that he had a bit of a poor hand, and we'll see how he goes on at Norwich.
Yeah, no, come on. I mean, definitely. I hope Russell Martin drowns in Loch Lomond, but Philip, come on. I hope he does a good job. Good job in with Norwich, mate. No, and I liked I seen a lot of his social media stuff, and I thought it was pretty good. The fans seemed to have taken He was given all the same patter as he did when he came to Rangers. He's always had a really good start at every club he's been at, so Norwich are quite near the bottom of the league, so you'll definitely see it go upwards to start with. I saw it was interesting. He said he tried to take Kenny McLean to Rangers. So some of these rumours back. Yeah, he said that today. Yeah, he said his press conference, he said that Kenny McLean, they were speaking about the Scotland thing, and he said he was a player he tried to get at his previous club very hard, but he was unable to do it. So that was interesting. I think we could do with a few players like that in our squad, to be honest. So that was an interesting. But no, wish him all the best, mate. 100%.
Yeah. And Cam, you're down in England, so Norwich are a sleepy Championship club. Their aspirations are probably to become a relegation fodder Premier League club again, and that's probably as high as they can aim.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, in England, really, you've kind of got your big six, which probably now your big 8 and 9, and then there's a handful of clubs which are always up and down. Teams like Burnley, Leeds, Norwich, Sheffield United. So I was quite surprised that he took the job, to be honest. I know he was linked with the Ajax job. I definitely think he's better than that, but I suppose for him it's potentially a pathway to the Premier League. That's where everybody wants to be. That's the land of milk and honey, so to speak. So I'm really pleased for him. I was gutted things ended the way that they did with him, because I thought he was kind of the guy that we needed, to be honest. I just think he was dealt a really short hand. He was probably having to do multiple jobs at once when he probably should have just been coaching the team. But then again, you can't get beat by Queen of the South or Queen's Park or whoever it is. So there is downsides, but I do definitely think if you look at our previous list of managers over the years, he was probably the most capable, I think.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're staying on mute there, Scott. You're a huge fan last season, isn't it? Slate them every week, get them away.
Just think, Gary, he lost the dressing room, he lost the fan base after probably the Queen's Park game.
You can't survive that.
Once he kind of lost the players and started losing games, he was struggling. He was coming out with some silly things in the media and these press match conferences and stuff like that. So, in the Queen's Park game, to me, after that, it should have been away. We hung on to him too long. But listen, when he came in, he should have won the league. He had an opportunity to win the league and he didn't do it. And I think that maybe got to him as well, because he knew opportunity was there, and he can probably think he let it slip. But obviously, you have to hold the players accountable as well. But no, like I said earlier on, good luck to him. And he was a really nice guy. He was a genuine guy, and I think he did try his best for us, unlike some managers.
Yeah, and in a different timeline, or with a few rolls of the ball here and there, he would have won 2 cups as well. Nico Raskin won disallowed for the Scottish Cup final. Then you've got the Cherny penalty and that. So things could have turned out differently based on a whole host of factors. But so I think for all of us, wish him well. Probably keep a bit of an interest in how they're doing. Obviously, Kenny McLean, as Ricky says, a big Rangers fan anyway, so you always like to see them do well. Danny Rowe's on the day, so let's play a bit of red, amber, and green.
Green light.
Green light. So he's been doing an assessment over the last couple of weeks. While he's in his downtime, while he's been away on international duty, he's been jotting down his wee notepad. Who's good, bad, or indifferent. So his traffic light system: green for good, orange for potential to maybe do better, and red for I want you out here in January, or unless you improve rapidly. So, we don't know what it says. I think what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of a guesswork of who we think, where we think the players sit. So I'm going to go around. I can't ask you all be here all night. We've done it for every single player, but I'm going to maybe pick a So Ricky's going to do goalkeeper and defenders, I think. So I'm going to start with Ricky, then we'll get what he's doing. So we've got Kelly and Butland. So Butland.
Yeah, well, I think Butland will be green for sure. Kelly's probably green as well because he's a backup goalkeeper. I don't think he's really never seen him. I think when he's looking at his defence, interesting, I would say Tavernier would be amber because they have about the new contract with the wages he's on. He's on a big wage. Suter definitely red, 100%. Cornelius, amber. Jigga, red for sure. McHoma, because the cost that he's going to cost is probably amber but unaffordable. Who else we got for defence? So there's
Aaron's,
not really a lot of options. I think Aaron's is definitely red. Enciala probably amber because he's not seen him. There'll be a few that are in amber just because they've not been given any minutes. So Sterling, Enciala, like your Finlay Curtis and all that. I think sort of players like that will be in yellow because he's not given them a chance yet. But I'll be honest with you, Gary, I really like Danny Rowe. Just a quick point on what you're saying. I really like him and I think he's been amazing and I loved his press conference today. I think he doesn't bullshit us. He's not giving us moonbeams and everything. But I was surprised. He's very honest and I was surprised.
You think he says too much?
I was surprised he told us about this traffic light system because I don't know how that will go down in the dressing room with the players because if you're thinking, Jesus Christ, the guy's been here 3 weeks and he's given this, I don't know if that will go down too great in the dressing room, to be honest with you. I like it as fans. We love it. It's like it's for us to speak about his content and everything. It's absolutely amazing, Gary. But I just thought he should have maybe kept that one comment in-house about his traffic light system and just kept that between him, the board and Farewell just now. And maybe a bit later brought that one out. I thought it was a bit early to be going on about traffic light systems, but just a little point for me. But maybe people have got a different opinion.
And that probably moves us nicely on to Cameron. Cameron's literally coming up tomorrow to shout Danny Rowe all game because he's a huge fan. He's talked about him before he even get the job. He's going to stand outside waiting for the autograph where the kids all stand. Apparently, I think for the
a big banner saying that's all. So.
We can say that at the end of the season. Now you don't still can't say that quite yet. But I suppose just in Ricky's points, I mean, we're joking go through this kind of traffic system. We'll get you do the midfielders in a minute. We can also debate whether you disagree with Ricky had, but he does say he is very honest. I noticed that listening to his press conference today, he did say a lot. He was quite happy and open, and sometimes there's a lot of worries that the Scottish media will rip him up a wee bit. We start to use that against him.
I think he's just unapologetically himself, to be honest, and I think probably players value that honesty. I think he's firm but fair with the players. He'll back them as he has done in past interviews, and he'll also praise them when they deserve it, and he'll criticise them when they deserve it as well. So I think he's firm but fair. I think on the red, yellow, and green, I think that's surprising. I think that's quite common. Not the traffic light system, but this idea where it's like you have a group of players who are good to go. You'll have a group of players who you need to improve. Here's a development plan. And then a group of players who are like, no, I'm not even going to deal with you. So I think he's probably just done it in a German way, in my opinion. But I think the way that he's gone about it is probably quite common.
Do you disagree with any of Ricky's ones that he had? Well, obviously, Aaron's was a red, Tab was an orange, Butland was a green, Kelly was an amber. The whole other back four could be reds for all I remember. But was there any ones you particularly think should be?
What did you have as McHoma, Ricky? Was he yellow or red?
He was yellow just because the cost of him. I don't know if I think you probably want to keep him if it was an option, but I don't think with that'll do. So probably yellow because I think there'll be a few players that will be. I don't. If he could afford them, then he probably would be green. But I think probably he's in the yellow just to be able to afford them.
Yeah. It's hard to argue against that. I'd shift him towards green, but again, from the affordability perspective, probably keep him at amber. Just because that's not given.
McGob, I mean, he captained the England under-20s, is that right during the week there? I mean, obviously, there's a level of player that he thinks he is. I mean, that's a good achievement for it in Andy's book to be captain England under-20s. Right, so I'm going to come to you in terms of midfield then. So we'll just focus on the kind of central midfield because we'll count the other ones as kind of attacking. So we've got Barron, Rothwell, Raskin, Diamande, Cameron, Asgard and Bayrami. Is that 7? I might have missed any, but that's the 7 that jump out to me there.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, from a green perspective, there's probably maybe only one or two that get greens. Would be Baron and Raskin. To be honest, Rothwell will be a red. I just think for what we've expected and what we've heard, the type of player that we would get, he doesn't look fit at all, and I'm yet to see anything concrete from him, to be honest, which would suggest that he's got potential to come good. So I'd stick him in the red. Bayrami, I'd stick in the amber because I do think he's a good player. I do think he provides something. He always causes Celtic problems. Every time he's played against him, he's always causing problems, especially with his pressing and his man marking. So, but by the looks of things, he's probably going to be in the red. So I think Rothwell and Bayrami will be gone. And then I think Cameron, Asgard, and Dio would be in the amber because I do think those three, particularly Asgard, have got potential to be better. It just has to be in the right areas. Dio's a bit of a frustration because I think he plays better partnered with Raskin. But I do think he either needs to come good in these next 6 months or in the summer, just look to move him on, just get whatever money we can for him. But those would be my traffic cones.
Yeah. Some of them are traffic cones, quite literally there, Cam, to be fair, over the course of the season up to now. Scott, so I'm going to give you a chance to disagree with them or change your point, and then you're going to deal with the attacking front seven. So I'll remind you who the attacking front seven or so are in a minute. But agree with Cameron's any ones you would disagree with her?
Not really, Gary. I think Cameron kind of nailed it. Raskin and Barron have done reasonably well. Both of them can do better, but Dio has to improve. He's very frustrating. He always frustrates me because he can do so much, but he offers so little. Asgard's the same, but he's just in the door. I think Tello is a good player, but he has to adjust quicker to Scottish football. But sometimes that does take time. So, and as Rothwell, I think he's out the door. Barami, I think he's out the door as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Cameron, I think was the other one. Did you say Cameron?
Lyle's frustrating. I'm not sure if he's in Rothwell's it's in Will's plans. I think he may be there on loan or maybe venture somewhere different in the summer.
Yeah. So you're going to do the forwards, right? So I'm just going to see that coming. So you've got 7 forwards, and unless I've missed anybody, right? So we've got Gassama, Curtis, Moore, Ant-Man, Chermiti, Miovski, and Danilo. There's 7 for you.
Gassama's probably amber. I think he's flattered to deceive at times, but he's been good, but he's also been poor. The 3 strikers are probably all amber. Miovski has to offer a lot more. Chermiti's, I don't know what to say much more about him because I don't think he's got ability to make a good player, but I hope he proves me wrong. Danilo has a good finisher, but his consistency we need to run a games just to see if he can do it on a regular basis because we are struggling for goals. Finlay Curtis, I still think is the best finisher at the club, but he needs more game time as well. And I think if you bring in another striker, he might be away on loan. Who's the one, Gary? Matondo? Did you mention him? No.
Not really. Matondo? No. Ant-Man, was that the other one?
Ant-Man's probably amber as well because I think there's a player there too, but I think he has to show more, but I also think he needs more game time, and it's difficult to give somebody more game time when they're very inconsistent. So, I mean, you're trying to win games every week. You don't want to play somebody who's very inconsistent. So I think there's a bit there where a thin line where he wants to play him, but maybe he thinks, I can't trust him enough. But Matondo has to be out the door, doesn't he? But obviously, he's on a big wage, but he's probably played his last game for us. But I say the 3 strikers, we need more goals from the 3 of them. And I don't think we'll get more goals because Majowski's very hit and miss at the moment. And I thought when you signed him, he's going to be a really good striker for us because I've always liked him. I think he is a good striker, but I don't know if he suits the way we play. Danilo's can't finish, but he's one that's no consistency. And Chermiti's, I think it's just been a waste of money for Rangers. I think the boy probably does have potential, but I think it was a wrong move coming to Rangers.
Yeah. I would say Chamiti's got a higher ceiling of the three of them, but whether he actually ever makes it, Rangers
because he's taller, Gary.
Well, that's that as well. For there, Ricky. Then, so I'll give you the last word on the red, amber, green. I think what's interesting is there's very few greens, which probably sums up where we are so far this season. There's quite a lot of orange because I think there's still some hope for a lot of them. I think they've got ability, got potential, but they've not shown it yet. And there's obviously a number of players that we just think that, from be it Rothwell, Aarons, and a few others that maybe by Rami, that just have no future at the club.
Yeah, there's going to be nowhere to hide for this recruitment team coming out of the January window, that's for sure, because they've got a lot. I mean, you just need to look at us in Europe, Gary. It's really the thing that's annoyed me most about this season is how bad we've been in Europe, mate. It's you can see that's your ultimate test for the squad and the ultimate drop-off. And McCoy watches Rangers every game, but when he watches them in Europe and he's commentating, you can hear his frustration with the drop-off in quality he's seen in the starting 11. So there's that tells you how many are in this traffic light system. So it'll be interesting to see. It's not going to be that easy to move all these players on in January. The good thing is a lot of them came from the Championship, and the Championship do have money, and the teams are always scrambling to try and find, like, I think players like Rothwell and stuff will be quite easy to move on, but other players might be a bit more difficult, like Miovski, if you want to move him on and bring in a striker, because Roll said that Danilo's the one that's basically grabbed the shirt and he's definitely starting tomorrow. So who's going to be starting up front with him? I'm sure we'll get on to that now. So it's going to be interesting. The team tomorrow is going to be interesting because you're going to get 3 or 4 players that probably aren't in his green system that are going to have to start tomorrow because of injuries during the international break. So they'll have a chance to maybe move, because this will be fluid. Like, I do agree with Cam there that this will be completely fluid until the end of the season. Even the players that survive in January might still be in the red or might still be in the amber because there might be something in their loan that we can't send them back. And if that's the case, then it's going to be fluid until the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting. But one thing about Farewell's interview during the break, it was he made an absolute point of saying that Danny Rowe will be choosing the players. He'll get the final say on the players. He'll get the final. He made a massive point to say that. So we'll see if that's the case or if he's still going to be on the walkie-talkie saying you need to pick Shermitty and Asgard.
To be fair, that's one of those things. Do you know, if we buy good players in January and the success, Danny Rowe will get the credit. If we buy good players and they fail, or buy players and they fail, they will get the criticism for it. It's one of those ones he's never going to win in that side of things for there. I suppose I never mentioned Matondo, Sterling, or Dow. I've seen some comments there. Matondo is Rabbi Matondo.
Waste of time.
He spent 4 years.
Injured.
Red. It reminds me of Rabbi Matondo. See if you got the bowling, 10-pin bowling. See if the set of barriers down the side, he could just let him run in that as opposed to just running at the park. He could potentially do something. Kieran Dell can't run at all, and John Sterling is injured more than any defender we've probably had in the last 5-10 years. So not including them, all 3 are fit again. They're back on the grass, not lying on it injured. They're back on it training, I believe. And next week they'll go into fuller, stronger training and potentially start to form part of the squad. But didn't include them in this green, red, amber, and green because nobody's seen them at the end of the day. So let's look at the game in Livingston. Injuries, Ricky talks us nicely. So we lost Mikey Moore, Cornelius and Suter are going to be out for a while. Bailey Rice, who's not been seen anyway, is going to be out for even longer and is out of contract at the end of the season. And Chermiti's got a knock as well. I don't know if his is bad, but certainly those 4 and Bailey Rice, if you want to include him, are all out for Saturday out for tomorrow at 3 o'clock. It does leave us a gap, certainly in defence.
Yeah, it's a shame, Gary, because we were just starting to see a bit of momentum in that Dundee performance. That first half was the best that we've looked this season. You could see he played the 4-4-2, and I think the players that he does trust, that was the players that started against Dundee in that first half. So for three of them to be out of the starting 11 is a bit of a shame. So it'll be interesting to see who's going, especially in defence. I see people going on about move Tav back to centre back, but I don't think he'll do that because we need Tav attacking on the right, he'll definitely play right back with Magoma at left back, and then you've got to give Fernandes a chance. You've got to give some of these players a chance, because at the end of the day, you spent all that money on them. So if you can't play Fernandes when both of your centre backs are out, when are you going to play this guy? So I think it'll be Giga and Fernandes will start. I would like to see Raskin and Diamande still play together, and then Ant-Man and Gassama keep with the 4-4-2. What's that noise, man? Jesus.
Strange noise. Somebody get a telly on somewhere.
There's chaos. Chaos happening.
Cameron, it's a right yellow card.
Cameron started his other pod while he's on our pod. Speaking
He's just stuck the telly on. He's just talking too long. We'll just stick the telly and watch something else. I'm a celebrity starting
mentioned Diamande, anybody put on a horror film. But no, the midfield, I'd like to see keep the 4-4-2. I'd like to see Gassama, Ant-Man, give Ant-Man a chance. Diamande, Raskin in the middle of the park, and then up front, Miovski and Danilo if Shermitt is not fit. And I would like to see Curtis given a chance, like Kerr said, because I do think he is a great finisher, and I think you could play him off with Danilo as a striker, as a second striking option, but we just know it's not going to happen. So for me, that's what I would like to see. Stick with the 4-4-2, keep the momentum going. We're never good after an international break, mate, so hopefully Danny Rowe can change that, and we just get the 3 points, Gary, and then on to the European game.
We'll come at you, Cameron, for the same thing. And so obviously the big issue is the defence there. We've got Inciala, Fernandes, Giga, probably as the three centre-halves, arguably Tav, but I agree with Ricky. Like, a game against Livingston, your most attacking threat should be stuck in centre-half. You're better to play him wide. So what would you be looking at? Ricky never mentioned Barron, for example, who's obviously been highly regarded recently. So what would you be looking at for tomorrow when you come up? What do you expect to see?
Personally, for me, I'd play a 3-4-3. We just play three at the back. I think Livy will look to sit deep and counter attacks. I think three at the back just gives you that added bit of security, especially for long balls over the top. I think we look a lot better, a lot more solid with three centre halves, and then have wing backs just to stretch the play. So I'd probably go the other way. I would put Tav at centre half with Enciala and Fernandes. Just because I think you need someone in there to organise them. And then I'd probably stick Gassama right wing back, Magoma left wing back. In midfield, I'd go with Raskin and Diamande. I love Barron, but I think Raskin and Diamande would be better suited to control the game. And then your front three, I'd have Danilo, Miovski, and I'd give Curtis a run out if he's fit.
He's got a number 10 position for Curtis.
No, I'd play Danilo. I'd put Danilo on the left of the three, with Miovski in the centre, and then I'd play Curtis on the right.
Right,
that would be mine.
Right. Well, I'll come to you then, Scott. First, then. So I'm thinking who's not including that. We've not got Asgard. We've not got Ant-Man. Obviously. Cam thinks Tav at centre back. Ricky thinks right back. No Barron in that. So what is it? What's that other? No Joe Rothwell. No Rabbi Matondo. No. I'm trying to think else is missing. There's a few. So what else would you be doing? Anything different?
Play with my three at back would be Tav, Fernandes, and Giga. Wing back should be Gassama and Ant-Man. Middle of the park would be Barron and Raskin. And I'd play with Danilo, Curtis, and I would go Miovski. It's Livingston my play. We have to go for
it. What would I go with? So Butland and goals, Tav, right back, Giga, Fernandes, and Magoma, Diamande, Raskin, Ant-Man right wing, Gassama left wing, Miovski and Danilo. Go 4-4, old school 4-4-2.
That's coming back, Gary. That's coming back. More clubs are going to start playing that.
That's it. So I'd go with that. Get attacking them. It's Livingston at the end of the day. You know, you're going to with the ball and they're a bit of trickery. You need to open them up a bit. I'm not sure three at the back, but personally works for me in a game like this. But I do get that solidity. So let's look at the goal scorers, team score predictions, all that sort of stuff, Ricky.
I still think we are baby steps mate, so I'm not going to say anything wild like 5-0, 6-0, any nonsense like that. I'll say 3-0, 3-0 Rangers, clean sheet would be good. And I'll go Gassama, Miovski, and Danilo.
I'm sitting with you just briefly, quickly. I want to ask this question. There's 3 or 4 comments about Lyle Cameron, that Cameron should be in and given a game. I mean, the fact that nobody really mentioned him out of the 4 of us, maybe tell us one story.
I do. I think, Gary, to be fair, I do want to see Enciala at some point, Curtis at some point, Cameron at some point. I think Bajrami at some point. I think these guys deserve. I mean, I don't want to see Asgard. For me, Asgard wouldn't even be in the squad if I'm being perfectly honest with you. His performance at Dens Park after what he did against Celtic and all that, just because he's Haaland's mate, doesn't mean that we need to pick him in the team. That's not in his contract. He can make TikTok videos and go and drink milk and eat steaks or whatever he wants to do. But for me, I'd rather see Cameron and Bajrami in the actual squad because they're not going to start the game, but just bring them on. Listen, I don't want us to go too far away from. We don't have a squad. We've just spoke about the traffic light system, Gary. We don't have a squad good enough to just be making just play Cameron. Just like we're going back to thinking that our squad is full of players that we can just bung in and we're going to hump Livingston. Man, that's where Livingston will make it difficult for us after the international break. Falkirk will make it difficult for us. We cannot be just grabbing the horse and going, oh yeah, just getting run away with ourselves and thinking we're just going to turn up and hammer these teams. Our squad's not good enough to be doing that, Gary. So it's baby steps, but I would like to see these other players be given minutes at some point, but from the bench probably to start with the way things are just now. So I wouldn't, and Barron, for me, I love Barron. I'd love to see Barron in our team, right? But I just think 4-4-2, I think Diamande and Raskin works better. I think they've got that friendship and partnership going. And I think I'd be happy if Barron played instead of Diamande with Raskin. For me, that would be okay. But I just think that I liked what we did against Dundee, and I think they two were a big part of the performance when things were good.
I can't remember whether you gave a scoreline. I lost the thread there. Did you say a scoreline?
3-0.
3-0. Right. And goal scorer, first goal scorer.
I gave you already, man. Jesus.
I wasn't listening, but I was aware the same thing as something else. I think there's something else.
Well, I said Miovski, Danilo, and Gassama. I said.
Thinking about Edinburgh tomorrow night, Ricky. He's not thinking about
Rangers. I was still thinking what I was going to do.
I know he's always thinking about his night suit, man. He doesn't love us anymore, Kerr.
I know, it's already been a podcast with no social life. Not got things to do. Not got time for this. So just I seen showing up a comment. I don't think Ricky fancies Cameron. By the way, that's Lyle Cameron. Cameron, it's not you. Just I didn't want you to be offended there when you seen that. That was Lyle. Just so you know. Score prediction for you, scorers, Cameron.
5-0.
Is that your first visit of the season? You're coming tomorrow?
No, Panathinaikos was first visit.
First domestic visit in the season.
Oh yeah, domestic. Yeah.
So did you say 5-0?
Yeah, I'm saying 5-0. Yeah, I'm not taking baby steps. I'm taking big steps.
Good on you. Good year. That's the way to do it. That's the way to believe in it.
I'm going Danilo first goal scorer, and then just on the
goal scorer 5-0. So 5-0, 3-0.
1-1.
Yeah,
just on the getting divorced. Freezing cold. 1-1. 7 hours.
Just on the Lyle Cameron thing. I know people want him in the squad and people want players in the squad, but I think it's important that we win games first. So let's start winning games before we start tinkering and start adding in players just to give them a game. If you've got a team that's winning, which we have at the minute, a team that's winning domestically anyway. Let's keep with those players, get winning games, get us up the table, and then maybe once a team started to win a couple of games, run a bit of a run, then you can start maybe tinkering and adding players in who need a game. So I wouldn't start just throwing players in just to give them a game just yet.
No. Thing is, I bring them on off the bench when things are going well. That's at this moment in time. Scott, come at you then. So we've had lots of 3-0s in the comments. Cameron's get 5-0, Ricky's get 3-0. You're the merchant of doom a lot of times, so let's bring it back down again.
My thought was 3-1, Gary. I think we'll concede with big jigger at the back. But my goal scorers, I'm going to go for Tav to score, Raskin to score, but Miovski. But I've also get a funny feeling Fernandez might pop up if he starts because
It's huge.
the boy's really good in there. He
Yeah.
is. We know he's got problems maybe in the date and he's not come across. He's not a lot of game time to show us what he can do, but what he's shown is people have said, oh, but he can't be any worse than Giga, can he really? But listen, he's good in there when he come on for that quick cameo, won quite a few headers, didn't he? And which we didn't really have somebody doing that when he came on. I can't remember who he came on against again, but he came on a couple of weeks ago and he won a good few headers.
The Hibs game last couple of minutes.
Might have been Hibs game actually,
Yeah.
Gary. I think it was. He came on, he won 3 or 4 headers straight away. So I think if he starts, he might score. But if he doesn't, I'm going to go with Tav, Raskin and Majowski. I think Majowski will get a goal. I think the goal the other night at National, I know they get hammered 7-1, but a good goal he scored. And I think that'll give me a bit more confidence. Because I think once he starts scoring goals, he will keep scoring goals. But I do agree with what Shona said earlier. I don't know if he maybe fits our style of play, but I hope he does because I think there's a player there.
Yeah. So I will go. So with 5-0, 3-1, 3-0, and a lot of 3-0 in the comments. I'll go 4-0 then, just to make it different. So 4-0, and first goal scorer it'd be Gassama, because I think I cut into the right hand side and hit a shot, which is what he does repeatedly. So they can more likely come off. And I would have went. You would have say Tav there, Ricky, but I didn't. So I just left it at Gassama this time. So
I was going to ask you, Gary, how was your tab thing? Did you go to that? The question answer thing?
Oh, do you know, I put 1,000 entries, still didn't get what picked. I was writing fake names all over the place, still didn't get in. No. No, unfortunately, it wasn't there. I seem to be back in the TV. Do you know, it was just random questions when it was one of the kind of, again, a bit of a just kill time during the international break to get some social media stuff out. Anyway, 2 weeks of an international break. I may have missed some stuff. Have I missed anything important we've not talked about yet before we finish up for the evening? Anybody got anything they want? They've got a burning desire to talk about?
Just like to say, Gary, rest in peace to Gary Mountfield Manny for the Stone Roses. Passed away the other day. Legend there, bass player. And I seen him in 1990 and I've seen him quite a few times since, and I was gutted when I heard that news yesterday.
Yeah, well said, Scott.
Yeah.
Tunes of our generation. Sad when these old legends pass away. Lost Ricky.
The first album, Ricky, the Stone Roses self-entitled album, must be one of the best debut albums anywhere.
Two big legends of Manchester, Manny and Ricky Hatton, so close together, man. Very sad.
Yeah. There's a comment about Celtic AGM. We covered that earlier on. I'm not going to cover it again at the end of the pod. That's not the way to finish a pod, so talking about Celtic AGM. So, as we've done just over an hour, Cameron's got up for the game tomorrow, so we will, and the Broomloan Road stand as well. So we're going to meet at half time and confer, talk about Ricky for 15 minutes since he's not there.
Why pod at half time? Why pod at half time for Jack Victor and the young Ned for still game?
Methadone Mick.
We are back to normal. International break's over. We are back to normal. We're back Monday evening. Back Monday evening again, reviewing the game against Livingston and previewing our upcoming game against Braga and anything else in between. So thank you everybody for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. You'll catch us on Spotify as well. And that's us for this evening. We will see you next week. Enjoy yourselves. Bye now.